All right, so I did a video just recently on the nitrogen deficiency that we had in our corn, and we talked a little bit about why I thought it was happening, and then we talked a little bit about how to remedy it. So I've since done a little bit more work on this. So I mulched all the corn with straw. Now straw is generally pretty high in carbon, and so while it will reduce the temperature of the soil, it'll take out the sun so that the critters can come right to the top of the surface of the soil. When we have a lot of solar energy hitting the surface of the soil, it gets really hot, it dries it out, and a lot of the critters don't like the sun. And so by putting a deep mulch onto it, it gives those critters the full kind of column of soil, so to speak, and it will allow it to work right around the plant. Plus it reduces evaporation, so it increases moisture, decomposition goes up, and it's that decomposition which is ultimately going to provide the nutrients for the plants and thus improve the nutrient density of it. Now, because that straw is quite high in carbon, I think it has about 100 to 1 carbon to nitrogen ratio. Anything kind of over 30 to 1 carbon to nitrogen ratio is considered kind of a carbonaceous material. 30 to 1 is kind of where you try and get your compost to be when it's done composting. So anything below 30 to 1 is considered high in nitrogen, and anything kind of above 30 to 1 is kind of more on the carbon side of things. We inherited a whole bunch of lawn, which has kind of been the bane of my existence. I don't really like cutting lawn too much. It's a little bit relaxing. I can kind of see the interest in people. And so we need to use those grass clippings somehow, and as a result I've taken those grass clippings. I actually harvested them. We got a harvester, a lawn clipping harvester with the property, and I've been harvesting them with the lawn tractor, and I just basically put a layer of lawn clippings on top of the straw mulch. So we've got kind of carbon, nitrogen, and then eventually we'll put another layer of straw on top of this. And as the moisture levels inside of those two layers kind of increases, we're going to get this beautiful kind of sheet mulch, which will make for really great corn. Now, I've already seen a result on this corn as a result of just adding the straw and the grass up till now. I don't think the grass has done much yet, but if you look at the first video, and I'll leave a link up here in the video that you can click on, you can already see a huge difference in the color of the chlorophyll in this corn right here. So let's take a closer look. All right, so this guy has already put on quite a bit of growth, and already the leaves are looking better. They're still a bit yellow, but the fact that they're showing, you know, an improvement in the color. So if you look at some of the earlier leaves here, here's a good one. Here's an early leaf. That's very, very yellow. So that's an earlier growth. Versus the new leaves right there, you can see that the green is coming right up, and I expect that this will continue to improve as the garden evolves and as that decomposition process increases. Now, just to kind of give you a comparison, so that you've got an example to compare to, a couple rows over we have another patch of corn, and it has not had the grass treatment yet, and these plants still look quite sickly. So that's a very yellow leaf compared to the ones that we were just looking at. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to add some grass clippings. Oliver, who's been helping us the last little while, he's staying with us for anywhere from 4 weeks to a couple of months to learn permaculture and kind of how the property works, is going to be helping me to mulch the corn with these grass clippings and see if we can't get an improvement on the condition of these plants here. So let's go and do that. So basically, we just want to put about 1 inch in between the corn, making sure you don't want to shade it too much. You want the corn to have all the sunlight that it wants. Yeah, that's perfect. And then with this grass clipping stuff, you can overdo it. So if there's too much grass clippings, they'll actually go anaerobic, and you'll get a negative result. Another thing, as a result of the collection of these grass clippings, if we leave them in the big piles, which I asked Oliver to make, they will go anaerobic and get really stinky because they're so high in nitrogen that they actually won't properly compost. So we want to actually so what I was saying is we actually want to use these grass clippings now that we've collected them. So I'm going to actually do this whole garden and just, we don't want to put a ton on, and we're going to want to put some straw with this as well so it's got the carbon that it needs to thrive. And so we're basically building a sheet mulch as the growing season goes on, and this will really put the garden in good stead. So we're going to get this bed over here as well. I'm going to do that bed over there. Okay, so for the sake of this video and for future videos, let's just take a look at this soil and what it looks like. So there's a bit of organic matter in there, but if you kind of look at the crustiness of this soil here, it's cracking. Got big clods like this. Look at this. That's not a good sign. You don't want big aggregates like that. So that's what that soil is looking like. Let's go now over to this bed. Even though it hasn't been very long, let's see if the soil condition underneath here looks any different. We'll just dig into this mulch and just have a peek. So already the soil surface is quite a bit moister. So you can get that. There's no kind of cracked, dry soil on the top. We still have the big clods, which we would expect. Like there's a big one right there. But as the worms and bugs have the moisture and the darkness to basically do their work, they're going to start improving the soil dramatically. So we'll see a huge improvement to the condition of this soil in literally just 4 months. So eventually what we're going to do is we're going to add grass to this entire garden bed, or the garden I should say, so that we're getting the best possible soil that we can get for our plants. And ultimately, you are what we eat, so we want to make sure that we eat the best possible food. So keep an eye on the channel. We'll keep updating you guys on the garden, the problems that we have, and how we solve them, if we can solve them. And if you have any questions about gardening or mulching or permaculture, put them in the comment section below, and we'll see you guys in the next video.